I'm specifically going to talk about Scope 3 emissions and what that means in relation to your business and the different products and services that you provide. So essentially what's occurring in all of these chats and what Nick pointed out so rightfully is that every single thing that your business now does massively affects your clients and massively affects whatever supply chains you're sitting in. Now, we all know from energy and fuel and different activity data that over the last 10, 20 years, we've got increasingly better on accounting for different impact metrics on, let's say, kilowatt hours or tons or litres or whatever it may be. That same level of scrutiny is going to come into the supply chain across every single product and service that gets consumed. And as long as you're ready for this, then you're in the best position in comparison to your competition. The status quo, as we know it, is what you see on the left-hand side here. It's a lot of guesswork and it's a lot of assumptions that are made based on dollars spent. That means that let's say you have two suppliers, who may be two solar companies or two consultancies, or it might even be McDonald's and KFC for all that matters. On spend-based factors, in Melbourne today, if you bought a Big Mac and you bought a Zinger Burger, you're going to get the same emissions factor for, let's say, that $20 meal deal. What we're starting to see is that is not good enough. As Nick rightfully pointed out, Woolworths and Coles aren't accepting that from their suppliers. AstraZeneca, CBRE, every government are in the same boat. And so that's shifting from the status quo to this level of information where at every single point in a value chain, you understand what's going on. So I'll shoot through all of this very quickly because we all know what Scope 1, 2, 3 emissions are. This is happening all over the world, and Nick rightfully pointed out what's happening for Australia's mandatory reporting. But just know that if you work with any multinational organisations, they're going to be requesting this from head office as well, and all the leading regulations coming from Europe. So that means even, our mate Donald Trump, who just got in, a lot of people are thinking that's going to massively affect the sustainability space, and don't get me wrong, he's not very pro-climate, but the ESG regulation that's coming out of the EU is really what's pushing things along. I'll move through this in the interest of time, but what they're going to ask you for is a very broad oversight of your sustainability, from everything from your overall planning procedures, your consumption across different activity data areas, but also your material effects and your wider ESG compliance. Now, what I wanted to speak about a little bit more here, and I know a few of you already have this data, is your LCAs and your EPDs. I know, what was his name? Tony, that's it. Tony's mentioned his EPD today. If you don't already have EPDs on your products and services, you should seriously be considering it. If you would like, after this, we've analysed about 300,000 businesses now, and basically our whole IP is a vectorised database, which has a memory model in it that essentially can compare every business that it sees. So if you'd like to know where your business and service sits in comparison to the benchmarks of our library of EPDs and LCAs, and also emissions factors for different companies and services, let me know, and I'm more than happy to show you sort of how this all fits as far as your relevant LCAs and EPD data, but also which clients of yours you should be considering that will probably be asking you for reporting, so that you can start to fill in, back to this graph, those question marks to actual data information.
Go back one. I'll go take a photo of that thing.
Okay. These are industries that are, like this is manufacturing, for example, energy, public services, and they're basically what we have to achieve to meet 1.5 degree reductions. So if any of your key clients are in those industries, that's the sort of rate of reduction you should be achieving.